Okay, I would like to look at slope and what that looks like graphically. The slope of a line, we like to give variable to things, so a lot of times you see the variable m representing slope. When you talk about the slope of a line, what that means is the rise of the run over the run. So as you're moving towards the right on a graph, which is an increasing way, you're also increasing in the x direction. So if a line has a positive slope, it's going up. Okay, and we say that's an ascending line. A descending line, when you start from the left side and move to the right, you'd be falling. That's a descending line. And that's always going to have a negative slope. So whether slope is positive or negative, you can tell what the line is doing on a graph. Horizontal lines just go from the left to the right. Okay, horizontal lines don't rise, okay, so they have a slope and it's 0. And that's always true for all horizontal lines. Vertical lines, those are the up and down ones, they're so steep we can't even talk about their slope. And when we look at it algebraically, we'll see why we can't define it. So it has no slope, and what we say is that it has an undefined slope. Okay, so now I'd like to actually look at a line and find what the slope is. Okay, so there's a formula. You can actually do this algebraically, but again, I think it makes more sense to first look at it graphically. What does slope look like? Slope is the rise, which is your y direction. It's the change in y over the run, which is your left-right movement. That's your x movement, so it's the change in x. When you're doing it on a graph, what I say to myself is rise, and the first thing I do is the up-down movement, and I just count it. And then I say run, and I move left to right, and I count it. And I put it in a fraction just like this, rise over run. I always say you have to rise before you run. And it is tricky because when you're plotting points, remember you start at the origin and you go left, right first, and then up, down. So this is going to be the complete opposite. We got to rise before we run. Okay, here's how we do it. Pick 2 points on a graph. The slope defines the line, the slant, how steep that whole line is. So it's not going to matter which 2 points you use. When you simplify, you should always get the same answer. So I'm going to go from this point. I'm going to start with this point. When I count slope and do rise over run, I like to really rise, so I usually start with a low point. So I go up and then over. So I'm going to go from this point to this point. So first I'm going to rise, and I just count as I move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, 6. That's why you can't always double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I went up in a positive movement, so my rise was 6. My run, I'm going to move left. Okay, so I'll go this way, and I count from this point all the way to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so my run was 9, and I moved left, so that's negative. So I'm going to just say it one more time and put it in my fraction. I'm going to rise 6 and run negative 9. And then I just simplify my fraction. The negative should really go out front because the whole fraction is negative, and this simplifies to 2/3. You can use your math fraction key on your calculator to double check your simplifying. Okay, so just to prove to you that it doesn't matter which 2 points I use, I'm going to do it again using 2 different points. I'm also going to fall. So rise could be a fall movement. So I'm going to go from this point, and then let's do this point. Alright. So I'm going to, this time my rise is going to put me down. Okay, so I'm going to fall, so it's going to be negative. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4. So that was my rise. And then I'm going to run this way, and I count from here to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this was a positive movement. Okay, so that's my run. Alright, and then I'm going to put it in a fraction. My rise, down 4, negative 4, and my run, right 6, positive 6. The negative goes out front, I simplify this on my fraction, on my calculator. If I want to double check, it's negative 2/3. So see, I get the same answer. It doesn't matter. And in fact, I'll show you, if you want your simplified answer right away, the easiest way would be to get the two closest points. So let's do this one last time and choose 2 points that are real close. I've got room right in here. Okay, so I'm going to go from this point to this point. And I'm going to rise this way and run this way. So rise, positive 2, run, negative 3. So M, remember, represents slope, is my rise was up 2 and my run was negative 3. And again, the negative should go out front or on top. That's okay for them too. Alright, so there it is, negative 2/3. I got the same thing every time when I simplified. So you don't have to do it 3 times, but I just want you to understand that a common confusion with students is, which 2 points do I use? It does not matter. Just make sure you simplify when you're done.